Good morning.
Good morning. I can't believe that we are coming up on summertime already. Right.
It's June.
I know.
It's
I
just
know.
January.
Where did it go? I feel like we were just here doing our first podcast in like our parkas, and here we are. It's beautiful weather outside today. I keep looking at the window. I might have to close the blinds, like I'm in school to keep my focus on what we're doing. But hi, my name is Lauren Goodman. I'm the Executive Director of Safe in Hunterdon. And with me on today's podcast is...
I'm Neil Rodriguez. I'm the Prevention Outreach Coordinator for Safe in Hunterdon.
And today we're going to be talking about, some client lifestyle issues, things that are residential clients as well as our non-residential clients experience, and kind of some ways that Safe in Hunterdon and the community in general can provide some additional support. So, Gilly, I know that you are in the schools a lot, especially this time of year with all the consent presentations. Many of our local schools do provide some assistance with nutrition and other resources for kids, not just during the school day, but with take-home packs, things for weekends. Can you talk a little bit about what that might look like for children and families who rely on that going into summer?
I think it's going to have a big impact on them. Obviously, there is a good amount of people who do get support from the schools, who do get the free lunch program, who do get stuff that they can pack and take home for the weekends. I think that's missed out a lot because people think Hunterdon County, and they don't think there's that problem in Hunterdon County because we're in a wealthy community. We don't have that problem, but we have a lot of children that rely on that. To my knowledge, they don't run that program in the summer. So we're talking about a lot of children who won't have breakfast, who won't have lunch, who may not have a meal on the weekend because they're getting that at school, and that's a big issue.
Right. And my concern for our clients who are trying to navigate as they heal from abuse or restart their lives, or perhaps are still living with abuse in the home, with everything, especially gas being so expensive right now. I have clients that are commenting that, they even gas to get to a grocery store is weighing on them. And, they may have a few dollars set aside for groceries, but then a few gallons of gas for the round trip are really taking away from what they're able to provide. And for our clients who are, relying on those trips to have connection with the community and being able to get out and about and talk to someone, it's so isolating. Have you had any experience with clients recently where isolation has been a huge issue for them?
I have. I definitely have, and I've actually talked to some kids who were concerned about what the summer was going to look like for them, what it was going to look like for their younger siblings. They didn't have a lot of support in the community, they didn't have family around, and they relied on services to get those needs. And a lot of, I deal mostly with high school students, so a lot of those students are more worried about their younger siblings and what that's going to look like for them, being isolated from friends if they don't have transportation to get somewhere, if they don't have the money to join a camp program, anything like that. They'll be completely isolated from their friends, from their community, and from even a hot meal.
Gotcha. That's and it's so concerning that they are so isolated, because again, it in a dynamic where power and control exist, the more isolation there is, the more control gets turned over to someone who is able to limit a person's access to resource even stronger. So yeah, we recently had a client who did rely on a lot of programs, and something that she said really stuck with me going into summer, that sometimes truly the only other people that she felt that she saw during, a regular month of school were, the bus driver. She would see maybe if she went to the grocery store, she would see a clerk, but she really commented that she felt that the bus driver was a way that she stayed safe, because if her kids weren't out at the bus a few days in a row, at least there was somebody that would notice. And there was somebody that would see what kind of condition she was in when she was dropping children off at the bus and standing there waiting to bring them back. And, she knew in a true emergency, since she didn't have the ability to make phone calls, the thing that would really get her is her abuser would always have her go out and get the children on and off the bus because he felt that education for his sons was very important. So she just said that, like, no matter what happened, she would tell herself, if I could just keep going until the school bus is there, at least there's someone that can call 911. And, thinking about what that is like for someone going into summer months, how difficult that is. And, of course, we go over resources at Safe and Hunterdon and the programs that we do have, immediate residential housing. For example, someone very concerned about an inability to survive, an inability to make contact with someone who was planning, well, at least I know that Monday through Friday I'm going to see a bus driver, can call our hotline and can come into services, including residential service, immediately. We do have a safe house. It's a beautiful home-like environment, private bedrooms for each family. Most rooms do have private bathrooms, or you do share with one other family or single person. But we, like the safe house, I cannot say enough about how gorgeous it is. But if someone needs to come in at 2:00 in the morning, we will help them get to the house and they can come in at 2:00 in the morning. Their window and their opportunity is really affected by what else is going on in their life. And, now we know right now it's really, truly summertime. We've recently done some outreach with some community organizations, including Zion Community Church, Clinton Presbyterian Community Church, and we do have, I'm aware that they do like some summer programs for kids. So if, people are looking for places for children to go, they do have some free day programs for kids that they've been working on. And I know we've had a lot of beautiful donations that have come in for our clients. Can you talk a little bit about some people that have donated and sort of supplemented our donation closet so we are able to help clients through these months with no school and kids at home?
Excuse me. We are very lucky that we have a lot of repeat donors. A lot of donors who have taken on our cause as their cause. We have Life in Bloom Wellness in White House. They are a yoga studio. They do prenatal, they do postnatal, they do all sorts of yoga. They're wonderful. They show up with necessities for us, but also fun stuff. They show up with diapers and formula and wipes and anything that young babies might need. But they do toy drives. In the winter they did, excuse me, a Fill the Van drive for our clients for Christmas presents and things like that. We have Mary Kay. Mary Kay has been a huge supporter of us, especially Alexa Tardy. She's one of the local, I'm going to say what she's wrong. She's not a distributor. She's
like a rep, or
she's higher up. I'm not.
Mhm.
Alexa, I apologize. I will get this correct and I will add it. I will put a disclaimer on this. She's wonderful. She's always asking what she can do. Do our clients need toiletries? Do they need makeup? Are they going out so that they can feel beautiful? They can have that. She did a drive for us for Mother's Day and did an absolutely adorable little gifts that the kids could go in and shop for their moms for Mother's Day. And it was just the sweetest thing. But she shows up with, she's organizing a toothbrush drive. So we have enough toothbrushes at the Safe House. So Mary Kay has just been absolutely outstanding when it comes to us. Chud has stepped up for us and done some wonderful things. They did a drive for us. You went in, you did a presentation with them, which was wonderful, which got the word out, but they also did a supply drive for us. And they got us all the necessities, toilet paper and paper towels and cleanings, because those things never go away.
Right.
We always live in the house is huge. The Safe House is huge.
Right.
And the cleaning in the Safe House is huge. So we have a lot of community donors who repeat. Once a month they show up and they drive up. Highbridge, the church in Highbridge, they show up for us. They do blanket drives in the winter. They've done supply drives for us. They did, at Christmas time they'll ask, do we need toys? Do we need presents? What do our families need? So we're so lucky that we have that kind of, and then we have, I want to say I had 5 different phone calls yesterday for people who wanted to donate.
I love
just
this.
different things, just, who had branded clothing that the clients might need for interviews. who had brand new shoes that they wanted to give away, who had toys, who had books, who had just so many people,
Yeah.
have shown up, and we couldn't do this without the donations. We couldn't do what we do.
No, and someone needing to start fresh truly does need that, not just the clothes and the things for interviews and all of the important, kind of stuff that we think about that we use during the day, but we have clients that will have, donate funds towards purchasing furniture for someone who is starting completely over. Or, I've had people offer to sponsor when we have to get like a moving van. And that is, we do have some grant funding, but it's really limited for those sorts of things. And when people donate, people are always like, oh, what do you need? And, we send out a list with like toiletries or, one of the things that like I do tell people, it is incredible when you donate the brands that you use at home, because then we have such a variety of, different brands of shampoo, different types of paper towels, and, sometimes people donate, their brand name stuff. Sometimes people donate store brand. I personally, when I donate bowl and basket paper towels because I feel like they do a better job in my house than the more expensive brand new ones. Which, I don't know, maybe that's just like a, pro insider Hunterdon County tip. I don't know if all ShopRites, how many of them carry the bowl and basket, but they're paper products, 11 out of 10, phenomenal. And then people ask about donating food, and so around the holidays, we will have people want to do food drives for us, and of course, like anything has to be, not expired, has to be in a sealed package, and then, kind of again, the same stuff that you use at home is great for donating for the Safe House, because families, both in our residential main Safe House as well as some off-site places that we do have the ability to put people, they cook 3 meals a day, just like you might at home. So, donating stuff like cereal or, canned goods is great, but also truly so is donating a gift card to ShopRite or Stop and Shop or Walmart, one of the local places people can get groceries, because just like in the regular population, we have a number of children who have significant food allergies. We have, I remember raising my girls through their toddler years, and they both went through a phase where the only foods that they were eating were like orange.
I remember.
So trying to make stuff as normal as possible for children is important. And when a kid is in a new place with new people with all kinds of stuff going on, I cannot let our listeners know how important it is that the shape of the mac and cheese stays the same, because going from the elbow noodle to the long noodle, if you're an elbow noodle house, is huge.
Absolutely.
For kids. And, it's also really huge for moms, because they too are in a new space and having to comfort children while at the same time they are healing. And so having just the agency and the ability to walk into our own food supply area, which is a pantry and stocked, and clients can go in whenever they want and choose whatever they want, and just having the ability to pick the mac and cheese that that your child will eat is so huge for people. And when we get donations and we get some funding through Norwest Cap and food pantries and that kind of thing, I can't stress enough, just that individual brand choice is so critical for people. It seems like such a small thing, but it really is, just it brings dignity and the ability to make choice, and really sets a path that healing is possible. Without that, it just sort of seems like, if everything was to be provided to you cafeteria style and things are, so different than what you had at home and you're not following your own routines, that gets so incredibly overwhelming. So for clients that are already on, backed into a corner and don't know what to do. Small comforts are huge.
Yeah, I mean, those gift cards give them the ability to have some normalcy, to go to the grocery store, to go to Walmart, to go to Target, to go wherever it is that they would normally go. It's a normal routine for them and their child that gives them that ability to feel that way, to feel like this is an average day for me. This is an average. We're just going to run to the grocery store and you can pick out the cereal that you want. And we're going to go home. They don't have to beg someone for money. They don't have to borrow it. They don't have. They can actually do things that would be an average day for them, an average schedule.
Right.
And I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, and things that people truly don't think about, like cereal. My girls prefer different types of milk. And considering that, we live on a dairy farm, it is bananas to me that they, one of them will only drink whole, one of them likes chocolate milk in her cereal, and one of them
I can't imagine which one
right? And one of them is a skim milk girly. So just even, knowing that parents out there, like the kind of juggling that you do, and we all know that's the thing that's going to set your child off. They might tolerate being in a different place and all of those changes, but something like cereal is just going to be what makes it kind of come to a head. And then, as a parent, like, you would feel helpless in that moment. So this is just a way where we can support parents as they're making choices. And, also with some stuff like body care and hair care, we have a full variety of supplies available because our clients, hair care needs vary. Textured hair, straight hair, people that dye their hair. So we do try to make sure that we have all sorts of products available, and also like a full range of skincare stuff.
Absolutely.
Because self-care is of course more than just getting your nails done or any of those things. But, taking, you have sensitive skin and now you're in a new place with different water and you're showering in something that's going to make you itchy, like that's going to become the focus of your day. Not healing, not all the services that are available to you. And, summertime is a really rough time for people to come into services. The isolation that our Hunterdon County, especially because of, lack of a true public transportation system, the isolation that so many of our clients report from mid-June through September when they're home with children is staggering. So, we do encourage people to reach out, find us on social media, find us in, on www.safeinhunterdon.org. And information on how to donate is in all of those places. Information on how to support our programs is in all of those places. And then, just kind of one small follow up. We have a phenomenal group of volunteers in training right now. And we are already starting to get applications for our next training class. And so if anybody out there is listening and interested in volunteering with Safe in Hunterdon and really making a difference for clients, we encourage you to www.safeinhunterdon.org. And
so that we get involved tab. But I will also be posting it on our socials. The QR code will be there. The flyer will be there. The QR code will go up. All you have to do is scan that QR code. It will take you into Google Forms. You fill that out, and our coordinator, Sandy, who's phenomenal, will give you a call and talk to you about our program.
Yeah, and we couldn't do it without our donors. We couldn't do it without our volunteers, especially coming into the season when, and volunteerism is really tough over the summer because people go away, people, have their own kids home. And so the more volunteers our program has, the greater life that's joined to it. And it just really, we're seeing the benefit of how hard we worked a few years ago to build this team. And I'm excited to see as it continues to grow and people continue to join. So, just really, truly, if you are listening, I cannot thank you enough for your support and encourage you strongly to consider volunteering or, donating funds or goods to support our clients.
Yeah, we always have a wish list up. We have an Amazon wish list, which is on our socials. We have a My Needfully wish list, which is on our socials. It is super easy to just go in and see what our clients are looking for, what the Safe House is looking for. You can click on it. You can send it with your name. You can send it anonymously. It comes right in through Amazon. It gets shipped directly to us. It's super easy, but that gets updated probably quarterly, depending. It definitely gets updated more during the holidays, but it's super, super easy to see currently what the needs are for our
Perfect.
clients.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.